Hey everyone, and welcome to this mini training this week, and I call it Attract Your Tribe with the Power of Your Words. The reason that I'm doing this little mini training for you today is because I know that there are many of you out there writing posts, doing maybe videos like this, articles, blogs, emails, whatever you do. And maybe some of you can relate to this. You're writing and putting things out. Hi, Dawn. You're putting things out and you're not getting a response. Crickets. And that is very frustrating because here you want to give good information. You want people to you want to share with what you know and how you can help people. But if you're not conveying it in a compelling kind of way, you will lose the potential for a lot of people to impact. That's why your words and the feelings behind the words are the most important thing so that people will pay attention to you. There's a lot of noise out there. There's maybe a lot of competition in what you're doing. Hi, Nancy. and so you have to figure out a way to stand out. And copy is so important. Where is your copy? It's in your subject lines, your emails, your posts, blogs, everywhere. Words and the emotions behind them are the most important thing. Maya Angelou said it perfectly. She said, people will forget what you said or you did, but they won't forget how you make them feel. So if you remember anything from today's little mini training, remember that quote because that encapsulates what I'm about to show you. I'm going to show you 3 important things right now that you can do to connect with your copy, engage others, so that you can build a tribe of people that want to hear from you, that want to connect, and eventually buy your services. That's the whole point, so that you can give them what you can do to help them transform or heal. So, I'll tell you a little quick story about the power of emotion. And I wasn't doing this as a business thing. It was actually this past weekend, I was the officiant for my daughter's wedding. I've never done a wedding before. So it was pretty nerve-wracking for me to do a wedding ceremony that I've never done before, and it was for my daughter. So I had an outline, that I learned to do of what you have to cover in a ceremony, but I wanted obviously to put personal things in there. And that's what I'm talking about, the emotion. In order to have my daughter and son-in-law really feel connected in the ceremony, I wanted to convey to them from my heart to theirs what I believed about them and the possibility of their marriage. And so I had to be really intentional and tune into my heart. And that's what I did. And I wrote the words on paper, but then as I said them to them in the live ceremony, I felt them as I spoke to them. Because if you don't feel your words, they're just words. And so when you are writing anything, the first thing that you want to do is ask yourself, how do I want to make them feel? And I'll get more in detail in that in a minute. Let me tell you what happened in the ceremony. Not only did they feel really good about the ceremony because I was touching on personal things about them, but obviously, and this was not even my intention at the moment, I touched other people in the audience. There were about 150 people in the wedding. And I was shocked. A ton of people came up to me saying, that was amazing. It touched me. That was one word they used. I could relate to what you talked about your children and what you wished for them. They were talking about not the specifics, but more about the feeling that was evoked. And then I was asked, do I do this on the side as a job? I don't. But apparently people were interested in me thinking about marrying other people that they knew. So the point is, they said exactly what Maya Angelou said. It's not what I did, it's how I made them feel. So imagine you did this intentionally every time you put out messages and you just got centered and tuned into, how do I want to make my clients feel in this message or subject line? Today, my subject line was attract your tribe with the power of your words. So my intention of the feeling, hi Amber, my intention for the feeling was to get you excited and inspired. And if you're already excited and you're wanting to know what these 3 things are to evoke feelings, please write, yes, I'm excited, I want to know this, or write down any other question that you have about the power of words and copy. So let me give you an example about how a headline or a subject line can make a difference, whether people will open it and look at it or not. So here's an example. Here's the first one. Learn great parenting skills to help your teen. So that's a title that's okay, but it's very general and broad. I don't know about you, but it doesn't excite me. I'll say it again. Learn great parenting skills to help your teen. Does that excite you? Not really. But now hear the difference with the second headline. Discover 3 of the most powerful things you can do to help your teen deal with peer pressure easily. Now what I've done there is I made it specific so it's doable. So the parent can look, I can do 3 things, where the first one was more general and big. It can feel overwhelming. So discover 3 things, yeah, that's doable. It also piques curiosity. What are the 3 things? And that's a feeling, curiosity. And I'm addressing a specific issue to help your teen with peer pressure. So your title can evoke curiosity, it can evoke laughter, it can evoke interest, it can touch on a pain. You decide what is the feeling that you want to evoke, and you will have a better title. Now here is where it gets really important. If your title, your subject line, your title, your post is not compelling, people will not look at it. And then they don't get to see your valuable content that you have to offer. And eventually they won't connect with you, which means they're not a potential client that you can even reach to help. That's why it's so important that you start really looking at your copy in everything that you do. I have another example. I recently did an email. It was a month ago, and I got some of the biggest openings of that email. And here was the title. I know fear, and I know how to heal it. That was my title. Do you see how compelling it is? Because it's true. The whole gist of the email is I actually shared about my own anxiety and panic attacks that I had. And I also shared how I healed it. And so that's what I titled it. I know fear, and I know how to heal it. What emotion does that evoke in you? Write that down in the comment box. I'd love to hear. I'm going to imagine for some people it piqued curiosity. It was like questioning, what does she mean? And also interest, like how do you heal it? How do you heal fear? Or maybe there were other emotions you felt. If there were, put them down. And so inside, I started being very vulnerable, probably one of the most vulnerable I ever was, which is another secret to evoking emotion. And I got more people asking for consults just from that one email. That's what I'm talking about. You evoking emotion touches people. It touches their hearts. They connect with you. They feel like you can relate to them. And when they feel that, they want to work with you. And there becomes your increase in your tribe, your increase in your clients. Does that make sense? If it does, write yes in the box. So I'm going to go over, I kind of covered it, but I want to be really clear. What are 3 powerful things you can do right now to evoke emotion and have great copy to attract more of your ideal clients? Ready? If you want to have a piece of paper, take some notes. This is going to really help you. Number 1, this is really important. Be really clear and aware of your clients' pains and struggles. What are your particular clients or potential clients struggling with? What are their pains? And speak to the pain. So for example, my first product that I ever created was insomnia. And I know what they were struggling with is not just the sleep, but how they lost their energy and they don't feel like doing anything. They lose their motivation. So in the copy, when I'm writing about it, in the sales page or the email or whatever I'm doing, I'm writing about, I know that you cannot sleep, and how overwhelming and how awful it feels, and there's no energy and no motivation, and you can't feel like yourself. See, I'm addressing the exact feelings they're feeling. Now, when they see that and read that, they're tuning in and they want to read more, and they're going, she gets me. And when she gets me, they feel engaged and connected, and they want to learn more and eventually work with you as well. Make sense? So know your client's pains and struggles and speak to those emotions behind it, and they will pay attention. Number 2 is ask yourself when you're writing the copy, this is really key, what is the feeling that I want them to feel as a result of seeing that subject line or reading my post? What do I want them to feel? Excited, loved, connected, abundant? What's that feeling? And once you know what that feeling is, write from that feeling. Okay? And number 3 is, from time to time, share a personal story. Allow yourself to be vulnerable. I know that can be scary for some people. That was scary when I wrote, I suffered anxiety and panic attacks. But you know what? It made a difference. It showed me as a real person that they can connect with, not just somebody behind a video screen that is just like them. And it really, really made a difference. And they get that I'm someone that they can learn from because I felt it, I worked through it, and now I can show you how to do that. Make sense? So those are the 3 points that you can already start with. Know their pains and struggles and speak to the emotions behind that. Number 2, ask yourself, what is the feeling that I want to convey in this next email, post, blog? And write from that place, and always connect from your heart. Just breathe and say, I want the words to come from my heart and soul. Right before I did that wedding ceremony, I took a few moments and I said to my higher power, let it come through me. You don't want it to come from your head. You want it to come from your heart. And number 3, get a little brave and share some stories, share your vulnerability. If you just did those 3 things, you would already make all of your copies so much more powerful, so much more connecting, and ultimately attract more of your ideal clients. So I would love to know what you found helpful today and what you're going to do as a result of the video. And if you know someone who could benefit this, please share this link with them so they can see the video. And most of all, I would love to hear your comments and share your hearts and likes that this was helpful for you. Thanks. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye, everyone.